Most of what I do on this channel is in fact stream of consciousness, meaning that I kind of just fly by the seat of my pants and let my mind take over, and whatever happens, happens. Dream Theater's stream of consciousness is what we're talking about today. I'm only going to do part of the song. So if you make it through this video and you give it a like and you give it a little comment below saying I want more, I will do more. But this is a long, very detailed piece. I'm only going to do 3 little sections. If you want more, you got to tell me you want more. Let's get started. I'm doing this from the perspective of E standard. So the intro part, which is this, I want you to notice that there's a theme here. It's the theme of, it's those notes. Those notes are present in both phrases, while the bass note changes. We have the D with that phrase, and then we have a C with that phrase, and it goes back and forth. So if you analyze the notes, C, D, all right? So basically what we have here is we have a theme, and we have a changing bass note. And that creates a sense of movement and color. So I'm just going to say we're loosely in D minor for this one. The D note starts off the theme. The notes would be D, A, and B flat. So I'm kind of looking at it as if it's a power chord with a sharp 5 alternating. And then the second time through, that D with the A and the B flat, which is the sharp 5, continues, but now the bass note goes to C. So it's like a D5 arpeggio and then a D5 arpeggio over C with that sharp 5 added in for that added color. All right, so that's the intro. Let's check out the next section. All right, here's where the full band enters. These big hits, big chords, here we go. So what's going on there? We have some really big power chords. We have a D over A, and then we have a C over G, and we're playing the 5th of those chords on the bottom to give it a heavier sound. Then we also have the F chord, which is the 3 chord in D minor, followed by the A, which is the 5, the G major, which is technically borrowed from D major, which is the parallel. Then we have the F again as the 3 and the A as that 5. And from there we are into the next section, which sounds like this. All right, now basically what we're doing there is we're rooted in D again. We're doing the D power chord, and then they're doing the classic sharp 5 again. That's borrowed from the intro part. So it's regular power chord, root 5th, and then alternating with the sharp 5. And then it does it again from making C the bass note. These stretches that Petrucci does are amazing. So essentially what we're getting here is we're getting a D over C with the sharp 5. So let's go through these different chords. This is a really cool section that not only uses chords from the key of D minor, which is where we're rooted, but it also does this really cool thing with the quality of the chords and kind of inversions or altered bass notes. So the first section here, which is this. So that is nothing more than the D power chord with the sharp 5. Okay, so 1 chord. The next measure brings in the C note, which is what we did in the intro, and we're doing the notes C and A. The A can still be kind of considered the 5 of D, and then we're doing that B flat again. So even though our bass note changed, I'm gonna still say we're supporting the D chord, but with a C in the bass, okay? The rounds of that back and forth, we end up here, which is, we have the notes B flat and A, and then we add in that G, so it's, and that is essentially outlining like a B flat major 7 chord, because you have the A, or I'm sorry, you have the B flat and then you have the A on top. And of course, the only difference between A and B flat is a half step, making it a major 7 interval, dropping down to the G. And I see the G, I'm gonna spell it as a G minor, because G and B flat would be the root and minor 3rd of a G minor chord. So it's like we're going from B flat major 7 to G minor, back to B flat major 7, back to G minor. So I'm actually inverting the name, or inverting the letters to create that second chord. The measure after this is this one, which brings us down a half step to A, and then we're up on 10 on the 5th string, down to 8. So that is an A with a G, which is like an A7. Down a half step to the F, which is like an inverted F major chord. And then the next one, this is so cool. I love this stuff. So there's that. That is down on the G. Big stretch to the 8 on 5. So that's a G with an F. So there is a G7 outlined. And then we're down by, let's see, we're down by 1 fret to the E. So now we have a G and an E. And I'm going to consider that an inverted E minor. Whether you guys would actually invert these chords yourself, you know, maybe you have a better way of doing it. I found it interesting to see the first 2 notes as 1 chord, and then the shift creating a second chord, but inverting it and having that bass note be the 3rd of the chord, minor or major. The very next section, we're getting toward the end of this part here. We've got, all right, so this part, we have the open E with the 5 on A, that's E and D, that's an E7. And then when I move down to 4 here, I'm going to consider that we have E, C sharp, but I'm going to flip it around and consider it a C sharp major. I'm sorry, C sharp minor. And then finally ending on the A, which is the 5 chord in the key of D minor. So we've come full circle. So we did this really cool thing where we're in D minor, we go D minor with the sharp 5, then we do the same thing with a C in the bass, then we're doing a B flat major to an inverted G minor, and then we're doing an A7 to an inverted F major, G7 inverted E minor, E7 inverted C sharp minor, and then finally ending on the A. What's really cool about that, obviously you've got some dominant chords, you have some major chords, some minor chords. It's all about, essentially, I don't think Petrucci, and this is my take on the song as far as this part goes, I don't think Petrucci was like, let's do that. I think he was like, let's just play these patterns and just repeat the patterns down the scale, and we'll see what we get. And of course, it sounds great. I'm sure he could analyze this, but I don't think he specifically crafted it to be that. The guitar is a very shape referenced instrument, so he's just creating shapes and repeating those shapes as we descend down the scale. This is what you get when you reverse engineer it. So I hope that made sense. Again, if you guys want more of this, I gotta know. I need to see, for every comment that says I want more, I better see a like to go with it. All right, this is a lot of work. I love it. I appreciate that you guys seem to like this and get something out of it. So if you're still here, let me know. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, and we'll see you next time.